people like us in an agency we tend to not do this, but they tend to explain it over their head, making it sound way more complicated than it is. Now, granted, there are plenty of people out there that run a business and they're still not a marketing specialist. They're not the one that's going to build a website. They're not going to be the one to post all of their social media, but there's some of it that they can do. So I look at what we do as a service as we are an expert and we can put it together effectively and faster than you doing it on your own.
But pages of companies that are closest to my location from where it's pinpointing me. When you're creating these posts that have your keywords, this is the same SEO as you're putting on your website. Creating social media posts that use those same keywords just gives you another platform to be searched on. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Fuck Your Podcast. I'm Emma Pardo.
And I'm Katie Martin. And today, we really should do a catch up, but today I really wanted to talk about some basic digital marketing, and I'll tell you what triggered it. So I figured this was a good topic for us to chat about. So as you know, we're in a bunch of Facebook groups with people in the roofing industry or the home service industry, and we do marketing for those industries as well. And there was somebody who posted, I was tagged in the post, and he was specifically asking, what's your SEO budget? What's a company's SEO budget, or where I'm looking for advice on SEO. And he even said in the comment, I hate to make this post because I'm probably going to get flooded with marketers, but he's looking for advice. And there's so much about SEO or just different areas of digital marketing that people don't really quite understand, because people like us in an agency we tend to not do this, but they tend to explain it over their head, making it sound way more complicated than it is. Now, granted, there are plenty of people out there that run a business and they're still not a marketing specialist. They're not the one that's going to build a website. They're not going to be the one to post all of their social media, but there's some of it that they can do. So I look at what we do as a service as we are an expert and we can put it together effectively and faster than you doing it on your own. But you can do it on your own. There's certain aspects of digital marketing that plenty of business owners can handle on their own. So I just wanted to kind of do this overview of the key areas of digital marketing and what they could expect. The one thing that drove me bananas out of this whole comment thread, which I'm looking at here on Facebook, is that they immediately started tagging marketers who don't specialize in what he was asking for. So he's like, I need advice with SEO. And granted, some of these guys get really great results for people in this industry, but they were saying you should spend this much on ads. And what people don't realize is what you do from an SEO standpoint, most of that is organic. You have search engine optimization and search engine marketing, two totally different things. What are some things that you hear from clients or people in the industry where they confuse the two?
Well, first off, I think a lot of our clients think SEO is some big, great strategy that you have to put together, and kind of, but
there is strategy involved, but it's not near as complex.
It's not as complicated as it sounds. I know SEO sounds really intimidating to a lot of people, and it's wildly beneficial, especially in the roofing industry. If we're going to be niche specific. But in the roofing industry, being so local to certain areas, that's huge. If you want to target those people that you're servicing, local SEO is fantastic. Right. SEO in general is fantastic, but it's a very low cost. If you're talking SEO, I want to add blogs to my website that have, SEO keywords, but I don't want to write the blogs. That's the only thing I can think of really contributing into a budget.
Right. Well, you're paying.
But are they asking budget
Well, and that's what I don't think and honestly, a lot of the people who responded, I don't think that they understand. You always hear SEO, people think of SEO as this, I want to be relevant on Google. So it always gets tied in with Google AdWords, which that's paid advertising. So it's two totally different things. So if we broke it down and just into the tasks, at the end of the day, what you're paying for when you pay a company to do the SEO is somebody who's refreshing the content, checking your rankings on a regular basis. And
it's mainly time.
It's time, right?
It's time spent that you're paying for.
Yeah. So you're actually,
which is valued.
Right. So when you're paying an agency to do SEO, you're paying somebody to do organic work. You're paying somebody to do the things that in reality, SEO is free. SEO is free. Like if anybody says, oh, you should be paying Google ads, that's different. That's social media or search engine marketing. That's pay-per-click advertising. We want our ads to come up higher with certain search terms. And a lot of times people don't understand there's a line, right? Like do both of those drive traffic to your website? Yes. But here's the distinction between what results you can expect with SEO versus paid per click. Think of search engine optimization. It has a slower return in the beginning, your first 3 months, sometimes 6 months. And a lot of roofing companies don't want to hear that because they want leads now. Now, you can supplement that with search engine marketing or social media marketing, advertising, but your SEM, your pay-per-click, that stuff can get a result quicker. You're paying for that. So just remember, like, search engine optimization is like if you want to leave the footprint behind, where that's always going to attract leads if it's done right. And so what ends up happening is your pay-per-click should go down, or that's like your icing on the cake, right? To where you want the foundation to be consistent from how you're found organically. And that's all based on your content strategy. Like you have your SEO content strategy, your social media content strategy, your video strategy, like all of those things tie together as one big picture, which some people did point out in the post, but there's not like a budget. There's not an ad spend. You're either doing it yourself there are very simple tasks that we teach clients all the time that want to learn it themselves. We teach them that aspect of it, and it takes time. So you're buying your time back. You're hiring an expert to get it done quicker, more efficiently, in the right way versus doing it yourself with a little bit of trial and error. But you're not purchasing leads. You're not using ad spend.
And I think that's what people misunderstand as well, is that with PPC, you're paying for your stuff to be pushed more, right? Mm-hmm. You're paying Facebook, or you're paying Instagram, or Meta, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
You're paying them to push your stuff in front of people.
Right.
But the second you stop paying, that's the second they stop pushing your content. People think that is a long-term solution to do paid ads for a while. And, I'm getting my, page, my content in front of X amount of people. Mm-hmm. No, the second you stop paying, they shut it off.
Right.
So shut it off.
The minute you shut off and that's the thing is you can do paid ads, and we manage paid ads. There's a time and place for paid ads. Sometimes it is right off the bat. But when you stop paying, no one finds you. So that's the thing. Like when the ads stop, no one finds you. When the ads stop and your SEO is performing really well, everyone's going to find you. And you'd be surprised, there are a lot of consumers who they're not going to click a sponsored listing because Google has to list that it's sponsored. So they know that you're paying to be at the top of the page. Mm-hmm. So what people are looking for are the map listings, and they're looking for the top organic listings, which are going to be the first 10 on Google, or the first 10. Right. I would say like the first 10, because like if you're looking on your computer, you're just going to keep scrolling, and your phone, you're just going to keep scrolling, but they're looking for the first couple listings that show up in the map, like in the top 3 in the map pack, or they're looking for the first one that's not a directory. So if someone's looking for a roofing contractor, your top listings are going to be, Angie's List, Yelp, the Yellow Pages, online, GAF. Like you're going to have your directories, but the first roofing company that comes up, that's your first organic listing. And those are the types of companies that people typically will call first, as long as they don't have to scroll too far. Can they see reviews? Can they see your map listing? Can they see that you're local? And that's the type of stuff that people don't think about. That's really organic. That's your website being optimized. That is your website performing well from a search engine standpoint. And the other,
but also I think something when it comes to SEO, a lot of people don't think they need it. And we kind of touched base with this with Adam in the previous episode, is that in the roofing industry specifically, people think SEO is just kind of like, do I really need it? I want my stuff to look good. Well, your stuff can look fucking fantastic, but if it's not communicating with anything, nobody's going to see it. It's for nothing. I think SEO is more essential than posting consistently on social media. With SEO, you're at least getting people that are actually trying to search for the content that you're putting out. If you don't want to post 5 days a week on Facebook, that's fine. But if your website is communicating with Google, then that doesn't, obviously posting consistently helps, But if you're getting all the traffic from Google, SEO is more important.
Right.
And that's something that is so like, it's really hard to try and sell somebody that's convinced that SEO does nothing.
Yeah. And honestly, because it's slow, and I get it. I've been in that spot where it's like sometimes you just don't feel like you can work it into the budget long term because you don't see a result from it right away. And
Right.
if we break this down into like the key components that most roofing companies should have, like first of all, a website that will actually capture people's attention, keep them reading, and convert. So again, that's another thing that you talked about is like people want it to be really sexy and really sleek and have all these fun features. And it doesn't really need to have that. It needs to have, obviously, being aesthetically pleasing without having too many bells and whistles, because you want it to load, you want it to be fast, responsive, and you want to direct people where you want them to go. And a lot of that's done in the content layout and the content writing. So having a fully optimized website means, first of all, that it's keyword optimized for, like, it's completely optimized from a search engine standpoint, but it's optimized for conversion. Meaning if somebody gets on my site, they're going to book an appointment. If someone gets on my site, they're going to submit their information, like whatever that CTA is. Do you want them to book a free roofing inspection? Do you have it in the right places? Do your pages flow? And it doesn't have to be super sexy. It has to be clean and readable. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you might be paying a marketing company tens of thousands of dollars to build a website that at the end of the day, it's just shoved with keywords, but from a functionality standpoint, a user's never gonna, like, they're gonna land on it. It's never really gonna convert into anything. So you have to have a marketing company that looks at your website and says, I'm gonna give you exactly what you need, so that way leads convert. So website is not just your online brochure, it has to perform. The second thing is SEO. So if you're a brick and mortar local company, local SEO is key, because if you're planning on being in that market for a significant amount of time, the investment, the first 6 months, because SEO is always going to evolve. And if you're paying someone to do it for you, you're always refreshing content. You're always making it more relevant. You're always staying up to date with the ranking keywords, who your competition is. And it's just like, it's kind of like the roots of a tree. You plant the tree and everything's, you plant the initial tree, but think of like how tree roots grow over the years and how they expand and how they get bigger and how they start to come up out of the ground. That's really what like your digital presence strategy should kind of mirror. Like obviously we have a tree, which is what we wanted. So the tree's pretty, the tree's going to grow and it's going to be there for generations. And that's, if you have a local brick and mortar company that you plan on retiring, selling, giving it to your employees or your team, you want like people to be able to go online for that service, and you are by far the most obvious option because you've expanded your digital footprint. They can't get away from you. So, and a lot of people don't think there's so many pieces to that, but that's where your SEO starts. Your website is like the tree that you put in the ground. Your SEO and your other digital content are like the roots expanding to where that tree does nothing but get bigger.
Right.
So the other thing that we work on quite a bit is social media presence. So I'll let you tackle that, because how it does tie in with SEO to a degree, and like talk about what's relevant with like the roofing clients that we have.
So the thing with the roofing industry and social media is that there's opportunity for so much content. Social media, especially in the roofing, social media for most businesses is mainly to be in touch with your community, to have good PR, right? That's like, I want to say at least 80% of social media is having that. One, it's a line of communication. Two, it gives you an opportunity to extend support. So still, line of communication, but it doesn't always have to be, saying something to somebody. It could be liking a post or sharing a post or any of that stuff. But three, social media is like the main way anybody searches anything these days. Google mainly, but if I'm on social media and I want to look up roofing contractors near me, I won't search that. I'll put roofing contractors, and Facebook already does this thing where it pulls up what's closest to you.
Right.
So, or if I'm searching keywords like a roof repair or a roof replacement or roof inspection, and I've made posts for a client that include those words like roof repair, roof replacement, roof inspection, that post is more than likely to pop up, because it's not like Facebook is posting, or Facebook isn't going to just shove a random roofing company in your face. Like if I'm over here in Texas and I search roofing company on Facebook or roof repair, it's going to pull up either a post I've already interacted with, but pages of companies that are closest to my location from where it's pinpointing me. So when you're creating these posts that have your keywords, this is the same SEO as you're putting on your website. Creating social media posts that use those same keywords just gives you another platform to be searched on.
Right.
So, the biggest leap of it is making sure that your content looks good. But to really nail it home, you have to have, it's not just about matching colors, it's about matching content with your website and what's on your website. And what are people searching on Google? So with social media, it's just the biggest thing that I like to say to clients is that, this is a opportunity to be transparent with your customers. But this is also an opportunity for your social channels to start communicating with Google, which communicates with your website. And when you tie them all together and you're searching for that, you want your local people to search for your local company, you're unstoppable.
Yep. And that's the thing, is where some people don't understand the pieces, like where that dividing line is and then how they tie together. So everything, just like you said, everything that you put out can tie together in a very effective, a very powerful way. So if we just talk about relevant content on a website, some people are like, okay, if I'm doing SEO, I'm supposed to be updating content. What does that look like? So it's adding or changing pages. So optimizing the content, making sure that it has the most relevant searchable keywords for whatever it is you're selling. Also putting out new content. And that with a roofing company, that could be adding location pages, that could be updating service pages, and that could be writing blogs on a weekly basis. And, let's just take the example where somebody says, well, how does writing a blog help with my SEO? Well, you're solving problems. So your blogs are all around the problems that you solve. So when a customer is saying, hey, why is my chimney leaking? And they're typing that into Google, 3 reasons that my chimney's leaking, your blog might come up based on your locale to where that person, is doing that search. But then again, just to drive people back to the site, if you write a blog and post it, you've got to promote it. So that's where that comes into tying over, and it ties in to your social media, making a post that you have a new blog, maybe writing an article on another platform, which ties back to the blog, tying in videos that you're putting on YouTube. A lot of people want to shoot, like they say, shoot video, which I agree. Video is great. It's easier to consume, but do you know what to do?
It puts a face to the business. People want to know somebody. They don't want to just know a business. If I just know a business, cool. But if I know people buy from people. Some people forget that, is that, no, I don't want to shoot any videos. I don't want my face to be on anything. Okay, that's fine. But people buy from people, the business itself is not going to sell as well as your face does.
No, or just your people in general. It doesn't always have to be you as the owner, but as the owner, you should be in a place to shamelessly self-promote. Like, that's your baby. Promote your baby.
Well, that's the thing. That's also something that I wanted to say, is that it's kind of like it grinds my gears really bad when I see someone that's like, I don't fuck with social media, so I don't want to put any of the effort into it. If you're going to be a business in today's day and age, you have to be on social media. Get over your fucking fear. Right. They're not tracking you. They're not out to get you. Get over your fucking fear. You don't have to post personally. That's fine. But you have to be involved and know what's going on, at least with your business, if your business is going to have online presence.
And I think that's the thing, is like, if you're a business owner and you're like, oh no, I don't do social media, then if you're 100% word of mouth, great. If your sales team knocks doors, great. If you network with real estate agents, great. But if you don't have a digital presence, how is somebody who lives maybe 2 towns over and gets hit with a hailstorm know that you even service that town? So
this is literally how many of your customers own a fucking cell phone?
Oh, all of them.
Right. If they have a cell phone, they more than likely have social media. It is so rare to find somebody who has no form of social media at all on their phone, on anything. Even if they don't have it on their phone, they've got a computer at home that they're searching it up on. It's a missed opportunity.
If you're and that's the whole thing with consistency, right? So you could put in, just like we do for clients, you can put in an organic strategy that generates leads. Like, your organic content can generate leads. Is it always at the fastest rate or the volume that you need it to be when you first get started? Probably not. And that's where you typically would do a combination both of paid ads and your organic content. But here's the thing, if you're paying somebody to manage your ads and then they just disappear or they stop sending you leads, like it's kind of the same thing with having your sales reps do all the door knocking to generate all the leads. Your sales reps quit, then you don't have marketing. It's all about having that foundation. And a lot of clients, and I'm not even trying to like knock door knocking, but it's because it does get results, and a lot of people use it because it does get fast, immediate results. But what if you don't have those people? What if you don't, like, you want the opportunity to be able to produce as many leads as you can in order to hire as many salespeople as you want and then not have a revenue problem. But if you're 100% door knocking and your sales reps decide to all up and quit, now you have a marketing and a sales problem. You have a marketing and a revenue problem. So then, and it's hard to break that cycle if you don't start layering in all of those, methods.
Right.
So if we've talked about websites, we've talked about SEO, which SEO is like the enigma. And here's the thing, I'm happy to talk to anybody. Like I'm happy to talk to anybody to tell them what they can do without paying me to tell them that. And here's the thing is, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care if there's marketers that's like, well, don't tell people how they can do it on their own. I don't give a fuck. Like, I want them to know, like, I want them to understand, like, my job is to educate somebody who would potentially buy a service from me. So if I explain it to them and they can go do it, great, high five. If you want to learn everything there is to know about digital marketing, we have a coaching program for that. And it's not forever. It's something that's like, hey, in 6 weeks, I'm going to teach you all of the basics that you can do on your own. So I'm not afraid to tell people, like, hey, I don't even know. Can you just explain to me what the basic SEO tasks I could do? Yeah. And then if it's like, I don't have time for that, or some of this is outside of my comfort zone, then you can make an educated decision to pay somebody to do it.
Right.
100%. Wait, and then you have the knowledge to be able to pay someone else to do it. So, but you can generate leads for your roofing company without leaving a computer. You have everything that you need, like, within your fingertips. You don't necessarily need the billboard or the TV advertising or the radio advertising. And honestly, I think that stuff's starting to get cheaper because not as many people are doing it. And as technology gets cheaper, like some of the old traditional methods start to get cheaper as well. But if you have a website that converts, you're doing monthly SEO tasks, you're putting out blogs constantly, you're putting out social media content regularly, you're going to be generating leads. And when your marketing is strong, it makes your recruiting easier. And I try to hit on that a lot. If you're trying to hire somebody and they can't find whether, like, if you haven't posted since February of 2017 on your Facebook page, they're going to be like, does anybody work here? If they can't find you, if you only have 6 Google reviews, like there's all different things that a potential new hire is going to look at. But I think the biggest thing that triggered, and so social media, bare minimum, Google My Business updates, which a lot of people don't realize they can do, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, bare minimum. If you shoot video, great. Are you using it on Reels? Are you using it Facebook Reels? The algorithm is way more open right now, and that changes from platform to platform. So, if you're shooting video, are you putting it on Reels? Are you starting a YouTube channel? Do you know the basics of starting a YouTube channel? Like, there's so many. And it's not complicated. It just takes time. Like,
you have to be willing to dedicate the time to do it. Just like you're willing to dedicate the time to direct your sales team or research materials or whatever you're doing for your roofing business, right? It takes time to do it, but it's not impossible to learn. Like, and they could sit there and say the same thing to us about roofing versus marketing. They could sit there and say, roofing, you have to have this, that, and the other, and it takes time to learn this. We're saying the same thing, just vice versa.
Right.
But marketing doesn't have to cost a fortune. Marketing can cost a fortune.
It can.
It doesn't have to, though.
No, it doesn't.
And that's what some people don't realize, is that when they think to hire a marketing agency, they're like, fuck, I have so much money I'm about to fork over. It doesn't have to always be that.
No.
Also, if you take the little step, like, marketing has very little steps to get things to communicate with each other.
Right.
I mean, we update keywords on a website once a month. And how long does that take us?
I don't know. It just depends on how many pages we have to update, because you don't have to update every page every month. That's the thing. Like, you do it by ranking. So, and there's some softwares. I mean, there are some that you might have to pay for to monitor your ranking properly. But Google has a bazillion free tools. Most of the keyword research that can be done by most marketing companies is done in a Google AdWords account.
Right.
All the due diligence that you need is free.
Then people, you need to not underestimate the power of AI.
Right.
For fuck's sake. I'm so sick and tired of people freaking out over AI like it's going to replace all these jobs. It can.
There are certain ones that it can, but also the people.
It has a lot of potential too, but especially the marketing industry, we're supposed to feel the most at threat from AI. I don't feel threat from AI at all.
The tool that makes me work faster.
It makes me work faster. And I'm not afraid to show it to my clients saying, hey, you can do this too. And it's not that hard. You just have to know what to type in.
Yeah.
And it'll spit out everything you could possibly need.
You get really good at like typing directions. What you get on the other side is super beneficial. But I'm trying to think so if you think of just stuff you could do from behind a computer. So the most common things that we work with roofing companies is, website build, which we've talked about, or remodeling a site just to get it to convert better. We've talked about monthly SEO and the tasks that are associated with that. We've talked about monthly social media. The other thing is, are you utilizing something where you could reach out to customers, like either prospects or old customers, past customers, as quickly as possible? Are you utilizing text messaging campaigns? Are you utilizing an email list? Or what are you doing with the contacts that you get? Like when you get contacts into your system, let's say that you use AccuLinks. I know for a fact AccuLinks doesn't have marketing features. Like it's not built for that, just like Job Nimbus isn't. But does it house all your information? Can you have some automations? But like, what are you doing to constantly be in front of old customers? Are you building out your marketing strategy a quarter out? Like just planning, what do you do if there's a hailstorm? What do you do if there's a hurricane? What if you do if there's a tornado? If you've been in business for 5 years or more, you could have a very decent sized customer list and just remarketing to your customers quickly with either emails and text messaging, you could get half of your sales for the year. And that's literally by setting up one campaign. So it's like, are you making the most out of the digital stuff that you have? A lot of times you have the power at your fingertips and you just need a different perspective to say, here's what you should do with that data. Here's what you should do with that. Like here's a system that you can use that's super low cost that you could market to your existing customer base pretty regularly. And let's say, for example, you use more than one marketing agency. You could tie all that together. And I'm not even saying like using one marketing agency is the best for every single thing, right? You have some that they specialize in something a little more specific, and some areas might not be in their wheelhouse. And then you have bigger agencies that everything is in their wheelhouse and you pay more for that. But if you could tie all of that together, so like think of, all right, I'm spending all this money in paid ads. So you could reduce your budget in paid ads and maybe hire an agency to do, to revamp your website, handle your SEO, do all of your social media content to where you have that consistent foundation. And then that way you can think outside of the box. How can I also implement text campaigns? How can I implement a newsletter? How can I network to a group of real estate agents or insurance brokers in my market? A lot of AI and automation, all it takes is the setup, or all it takes is somebody to put pieces together. But once you're maximizing most of the roofing companies that we're starting to work with, they're like, yeah, what can you do? Like, what can you do that I'm not currently doing? So they're fairly open, they're fairly open to, let's try something new. Like, what am I missing? And that's the whole thing. When you get to that point of, I'm getting a decent amount of leads, now what am I missing? And you fill in all those gaps, then you're never going to have a lead gen problem because you have a consistent marketing strategy. And most of it is just helping somebody get it out of their head and getting it out on paper on some things that work, and then saying, can I handle this, or do I need to hire somebody to do it? And I try to keep it that simple because we also work with a lot of roofing clients that they use other agencies besides us. So my job is to work with those people to make sure we're getting maximum return on the things that we're doing independently, and that we're not doing anything that somehow could counteract, which is usually not too much the case, but just to where it all jives. So just a couple examples in here that now they're recommending people, which is great. I can just tell you, and I'm not going to name names, but like I'm seeing something, I was seeing people tag some other marketers where I'm like, I clearly know that's not what they do. Like I've worked with that person.
And that's the thing. It's like
to do paid ads. They did amazing at paid ads. SEO is not their thing. Doesn't mean they don't understand it, and doesn't mean that they don't know how to do some of it, but that's just not their thing.
Well, no. And that's what I feel like have done a good job with our agency. And I don't feel like this is just just a podcast to hype us up. You know, we're not saying we do it all right either. This is just what we know. But I'm okay to admit that I'm not good at ads, like paid ads.
Right. Some people I
can kick ass at organic content, and I can kick ass at aesthetics, and like that aspect of marketing. I could do copywriting, right? I have a journalism background, all that stuff. But when it comes to structuring a paid ad and who to target, like that, when you're really cracking down on who to target, I understand who to target, but like, I'm not as confident.
Well,
let's just put it that way.
Well, sometimes I think it's the level of confidence because of the different ways you can target people, right? There's so many different ways. But as far as the content that you make for paid ads, I wouldn't say that you're like, it's just not like your area of extreme confidence, but there are other people on the team too. Just like the Google pay-per-click side of things, I can do the keyword research. Do I do it every day to where I'm like, this is what I love doing, and I'm going to sit here and dive through all the analytics? No, that's what we have someone on our team that is a PPC expert. Like, that's what they do.
Right.
But it's just like, I got frustrated because I'm like, could somebody just give him some good tips? Because I'm looking and...
But here's the thing, like it sucks, and I get people trying to make sales, but when somebody asks a simple question like that, they're not looking to be sold in. They just want an answer. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with giving that answer. That's what's frustrating as marketers. They're like, no, you kind of have to pay for this. And it's like, no, I don't even think I think there were other roofing companies like legitimately trying to help, like, hey, this is what I did that generated leads. But I'm like, it's not what he asked. He's like, what should I be doing for, what should I be doing for what should my SEO budget be? And probably the closest person, he said 0, and then his response was just another way to generate leads, but it had nothing to do with SEO. And so, and I get it, like I've been the roofing contractor paying for shit that didn't happen, right? I've been that person. I paid a fairly good size agency that I was referring to clients until like shit completely dry. I'm like, you guys are not like, I've been on top of everything you've asked me for. We've been doing this for almost a year now. I've not seen an increase in lead flow. Like, tell me show me reports, and that's the thing is if you get questioned, you gotta be able to show them. So, I mean, there were some really great recommendations, some of which had nothing to do with SEO. And that's the thing is like, I just want to help people understand what the difference is. So where one person said, local service ads is where it's at. Like, again, those are ads. Like those are, it is for a home service company. I would totally recommend local service ads, which is also Google guaranteed. But those are paid ads. That's what you have to understand is that those are paid ads. That's a paid listing. You have to get approved through Google, and then you set it up and it kind of runs on its own, and then you get leads or you don't. And then if they're not good leads, you can dispute them, and you only pay for the leads that are good. Again, you're paying per lead. So although it's a good method and sometimes can work really, really well, and you get fairly qualified leads from it, it's not SEO. It's just part of Google. And again, Google will tend to reward those who use its services, but one doesn't directly affect the other. It's just if you outbid, if someone's looking for a roofing contractor in Alton, Illinois, and your budget on Google guaranteed is higher than, Jim Bob's roofing company down the street, then your ad's going to show up first and his is going to be second or third or whatever. But that's not organic listing. Like, I want to find somebody who's local and I want to find them in the organic listings. So is it a great way to get leads? Yeah, but you are paying for it. Like, you're paying for the lead. Ooh, people with SEO like to underestimate the power of responding to reviews.
Oh yeah, that's another one.
That is something that's so huge. That communicates so well with Google is when somebody leaves a review on Google for you or your business. I mean, responding in a professional way that is keyword integrated will push you so far. It's so underestimated.
2 things that a contractor could do today, 100% today, that will actually help influence their SEO or that'll help directly affect their SEO as opposed to influence, is post consistently on your Google business profile, post updates with pictures and keywords and cities, and also respond to reviews with keywords. And I know it sounds kind of dumb, but it's, if somebody says, hey, such and such roofing company did a really great job on my roof, respond, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, thank you for allowing us to assist you with your roof replacement project in blah, 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 blah city. Now, you can write that where it doesn't sound so robotic, but like you get what I'm going for, right? You're including the keywords and you're including the location where they are. But yeah, that's stuff they can 100% do on their own, again, with content. So, but
it could be started. It doesn't have to take this week-long, months-long process to start. You could do that literally today.
Oh yeah. It doesn't take a ton. Like honestly, the more organic picture, if you're in the field all the time, I can show you all the apps to have on your phone where you can post the pictures that you're taking at job sites, where it's super effective, and not all of them are before and after pictures, but you can do pictures. You can do, I don't think Google My Business, you can't post videos, but
no, not on Google My Business. You can post picture updates.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Do updates with photos and with text. So those are, like you said, you could start tomorrow. You could start like later today. Like it's that simple. So, but that's why I wanted to like talk about that today, just kind of the basics, like some of the, if you can just focus on, your website, and then SEO is going to be important. If you are a local home service contractor of any kind, SEO is going to be an important part of your strategy, or you're always going to feel the pain of paying for ads. And in roofing in some cities, sometimes you got to be able to spend or be willing to spend $5,000 to $7,000 right out of the gate just to see if it,
right.
And that's, that can be a lot if you're a young company. And then there could be people that are like, hey, I'm fine with a $4,000 or $5,000 budget to get started. And then when they get results, then they can increase it. But if you're frustrated with all the ad spend in order for you to get leads, that's what organic's for. And there are a lot of agencies that will get your SEO on the right track for a fraction of what you're going to pay in Google ads. So just consider just understanding what you're paying for. I don't care if you pay me for it or not. Like, I just want to make sure that you understand, as a business owner that is hiring another business to do something on your behalf, that you just understand what you're getting.
Right.
So yeah, because I was reading that, I was like, oh God, don't, like, that has one doesn't have to do with the other. So it was just driving me bananas. So hopefully this was valuable for my rant.
Right. That was the goal of this episode, was to kind of give some insight.
Yeah.
Is that you don't always have to sell somebody on something. Sometimes it's okay to just give them the right answer without looping them into something else.
Don't
gatekeep. As a marketing agency, don't fucking gatekeep. Like we said, you're paying a marketing agency, like 90% of the time you're paying for their time spent on a project, getting something done for you, right? Unless it's paid ads and you're paying ad spend. But if it takes you 2 seconds, you're not going to bill somebody the minute it took you to type out a comment.
Right.
Get the fuck over it. Respectfully.
We're just trying to keep it simple.
Right.
But there are some great agencies from an SEO standpoint that I would recommend, even if it, like, in addition to us, right? So there's, right. And they know how, they understand it. And that's the thing, is they have to understand where your customers come from. And they have to actually care, like, that you want, figuring out what you want to be found for, versus just implementing something that's like, sure, pay me $600 a month and, we'll implement this templated SEO strategy. That doesn't work.
Right.
He's got to understand the industry enough to know the nuances and, what's actually going to be harder in some cities versus others, and where you can pay attention. So, but any marketing agency should take the time to understand enough about your company, your customer base, your goals, and care about the leads that are coming in, versus
if they're not asking you questions, if your marketer or marketing agency isn't asking you questions about your business and your audience, run. If they're not asking questions, it's so hard. It's even frustrating when, being put in a situation to do content creation without somebody's website being up. And, for the most part, content creation, I can get a lot of content out of your website, but without that line of communication, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
So if I haven't brought it to your attention that your website's down, and it's kind of difficult to create some content that's going to be branded to you with your website being down, there's a fucking issue.
Yeah. That is true. But anyway, I digress. That's enough of and I wasn't it was a productive rant. Like I wasn't
Yes.
really ranting. I was just like, man, I just wish if somebody would say like a few key things, which I wasn't going to go in there and say, you should do this and you should do that. Like I would happily get on the phone and tell him like, hey, do you have the capability of doing X, Y, and Z? Here are the things you can do 100% on your own. Then, and I'm gladly point you in the right direction of how to do it. Then you legitimately know what you're getting on the other side when you decide to pay somebody to handle it for you. So
Right.
like know what you're paying for. And at the end of the day, you want to see that the work ties into something that produces a result.
Anyway, if you are wanting to hear a topic, looking for advice, just want to chat, you can message us on our Instagram at F__K your pod, or you can always email me at Emma@99creatives or Katy
at Katy at 99 Creatives.
Don't forget to do your SEO and don't forget to do the damn thing. Damn it. Okay, bye.
All right, bye.